and welcome to the BigAppleSchool podcast, the weekly English show where we speak about everything under the sun. The major goal of this show is to help you improve your English and, of course, learn something new. My name's Katja, I'm a host, and today with me...
I'm Gary.
Maria.
Benjamin.
The whole crowd. Everyone's here. So today we're going to discuss the topic that I gave a little bit of a teaser about already. So if you are a careful listener, then you know what the topic is going to be. So,
and we know there's mostly careful listeners.
I hope so.
Right.
So, and just as usual, we want to ask these careful listeners to help us, to help us grow, to help us improve. So how can you do that? You can support us by subscribing to our pages on Apple, Yandex, Google, VK, or any other platform where you listen to our podcast. How else? You can rate and review our podcast, give us stars, leave comments, ask questions, and even send your ideas about next episodes. All of that really helps us to improve. So, and be out there in the top. I think we're now actually in the top 10 of the educational podcasts, and all of that is thanks to you, dear listeners.
Educational podcasts on what?
Well, at least
iTunes?
on. I don't think on iTunes because it's international, but on VK for sure. We are in the top 10.
Oh, wow.
That's why I came here today to educate myself by listening to clever people.
Oh, wow. She's
you have a very high opinion of
speaking of clever
of my
things.
intellectual, abilities. So we are here with Masha to listen to Benjamin and Gary talk about...
In the vain hope that there will be some wisdom here. More than you might find in 15 minutes on Wikipedia.
Well, wisdom
definitely
and
more than,
informative stuff and yeah.
Well, definitely more than you can find, within 15 minutes on Wikipedia, because our podcast is about an hour long. So, 1 hour of best quality knowledge and information.
Best summaries of the best knowledge.
Of the best Wikipedia articles. No, it's not
Come
all.
on.
And precious experience of life.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, but we're here today to talk about that thing that I've mentioned last time that I saw Gary and Benjamin, which was space. But it would be, maybe not fair to talk only about space today. So that's why we're going to have...
Too small of a topic.
Let's
broaden that out. Space is a little too small for this podcast.
Limited.
Right.
That's right. Let's broaden that out with what else?
With ocean. Because, there's this constant debate. What should we explore, we as humanity? Ocean or space? And I want to start with ocean and ask you, how much do you actually know about it?
So 70% of the world mass, I believe, is water.
70.
Yeah,
I
70 or
believe it's
75
70.
even. Yeah.
And what's interesting about that is how the human body is also 70% water.
So a cucumber is 90% water. We're basically a cucumber covered with skin.
So what's a watermelon?
Well, now we're getting a little too deep here.
Into the ocean.
It's another topic. Let's leave biology till next time.
That's next time. Teaser for next time.
Teaser for next time.
Fruits and vegetables next time.
Are we cucumbers or watermelons?
Well, it depends on your, figure type. I'm definitely more of a watermelon.
Is it a topic of conspiracy theories?
Oh, wow. We have a lot of things covered over here. But okay, so 75% of our planet is water. What else do you know about ocean?
And 95% of this water is not explored yet. So it means that I personally know almost nothing, close to nothing.
So
even
5%.
Even despite the fact that I watched some not scientific but kind of popular TV shows when I was a child about ocean exploration made by Jacques-Yves Cousteau. Do you know this guy?
Oh, I don't know.
French guy who was an ocean explorer and a scientist and an inventor. He was a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. But actually, it's so hard to imagine that it's only 5%.
Yeah, we know.
5%.
So less.
Well, it's a big amount of water. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. I actually have a question. Now, remember your school days.
Okay.
I'm trying.
No, I wish you could see Gary's face right now. So
he's trying so hard to remember.
remember your geography lessons. How were you taught? How many oceans are there?
Well, aren't we all taught this? There are 7 oceans. Or 7.
Continents.
Seven.
Seven continents.
So Ben was not listening carefully.
Okay.
During his geography lessons.
I love geography. I love geography. This
But
is
7 oceans.
Well,
wait,
four,
so
I guess, yeah. The
Pacific.
Pacific, the Indian, the Atlantic, and the North Ocean, right, or something. Well, I'm not sure about the 4th one. I mean, is it the ocean or is it not?
There's not a lot of oceans, actually. There's
So-
Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian, yeah?
Pacific, Atlantic, Indian. You said the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah,
Oh, the
because
Arctic
when I was at school, we had only 3 oceans.
Oh wow!
Well,
When
that
I
was a long time ago. They've
When
discovered
I was at
several-
school, we had 9 planets in our solar system.
That's
now we
true.
have 8, so
the reason
things are changing.
The reason why I ask is that, for example, I remember being told that there are 4 oceans, so Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, and Indian. And then I talked to some of my students, and they're like, we had the topic of genitive singular and genitive plural. I'm like, how many oceans are there? And they said 5. I'm like, wait a second. What do you mean 5? There are 4 oceans. They're like, no. There is Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, Indian, and South Ocean. I'm like,
South
now I
Ocean?
haven't heard about that. And I went to, check that. Guess where?
Well, where else would you go?
So, and it turned out to be true. There are 5 oceans. It's just, earlier they used to stick to the theory that there are 4. Now they have, separated one of them as a separate ocean, which is the South Ocean.
Well, there's a phrase in English. It's the 7 seas.
that's probably why I said 7.
Yeah, it might be. Across the 7 seas is like it's sort of is it a metonymy or something
What?
like that? Metonymy, one of those Greek
Like
words.
metaphorical, yeah.
Like certain kind
Because
of.
I do remember very vividly hearing.
Yeah, well, it's
With 7
a
seas,
phrase.
yeah.
It's like the whole world. I've been across
Yeah.
the 7 seas
Yeah.
means I've
Very,
been
very far away,
everywhere.
yeah.
I've been
Okay.
across the globe.
How
Say
many
around the
seas have
globe.
you been to?
Boy, I don't know. Pacific and
7?
Pacific and Atlantic, not the Indian. Not
But I mean, what about the seas? I know it's not
the
the
seas.
topic
yeah,
of the
well,
ocean,
there's
but I'm just curious,
Caribbean.
since you've mentioned 7, because I've been to 0. I've never seen a sea with my own eyes.
What about Boston? Did you not check out the coast?
But it's the ocean.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about seas now.
Yeah, seas are what the Caribbean and the Bering Sea,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
between Alaska and Russia, and of course the Sea of Okhotsk.
Yeah.
Well, you know how I used to think that Upskoy is a sea when I was a kid?
What they call
I was
it.
very disappointed when it turned out it isn't. Yeah. All right. And
I don't know what other seas. There's probably, it would seem like there's even more than 7 if you start.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
there are
there's
so
gotta
many
be,
of
yeah.
them. So many. Yeah. Okay.
The
It's just- I just got curious,
South
since-
China Sea. Yes, the South China Sea. It's off of China and goes into Malaysia.
I
and all
am
of that.
so bad.
It's a
But yeah,
major
that's
So
yeah,
bad.
That's a
a heavily
gigantic-
contested area, and there's
Yeah, I know.
warships. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Okay, next time we have a map in front of us. Just
I think that would help, actually. Yeah. I think
No,
it would.
that would ruin the spontaneity. too many
I just
facts.
desperately want to have a map right here.
It
So,
would
and
be
what about the history of oceans, exploration? So, what do you know about it?
Mr. Thomas Cook. That's one famous name that we can add to it. Christopher Columbus.
Can you give us the time frame maybe? I mean, what century was that? I mean, Columbus was 1419.
15th century.
15th
but
century,
I
the end
just
of the 15th century.
I actually opened a real book. You'll be pleased to know. Not
Indeed.
not Wikipedia, but I opened a real book with pages in it.
That's commitment.
Right. That's the kind of commitment it takes to have one of the top 10 podcasts
Exactly.
on Vika. But anyway, the exploration, just a little bit about this. It was the 15th century was when it started.
Mm-hmm.
So Columbus was 1492, famous date. But the Portuguese were kind of the first to really get systematic about it. I learned this from this book. And there was a fellow named Henry the Navigator in Portugal. And this became a national project of Portugal, which is kind of a small country and faces the Atlantic. And so it doesn't face Europe. And so it's kind of looking out by geographical position. And led by this, I guess he was king of theirs, who was interested in exploration. They began to explore down into Africa. There was some kind of a war there with the Muslims at the time, and then beyond, which indicated there was a lot of wealth there. Because it happens at the place that they won the battle, and it was full of all kinds of wealth that had come across Africa through all these trade routes that were already there. And so this intrigued him for a variety of reasons, and so they began to just explore down the coast of Africa gradually, and over 150 years as kind of a national project. They ended up finally going around the Cape of Good Hope, which is the bottom of Africa, and then up toward India, where there were already trade routes from East Africa.
And this is why Angola speaks Portuguese, why Mozambique speaks Portuguese. You have many different colonies.
And there's Goa in India and
I do
Macau
wish we had a map.
Yeah. But anyhow, so that was kind of the eastern part of it.
Wait, you've mentioned the Cape of Good Hope. Was that the voyage of Vasco da Gama?
Yes.
In like the 15 something?
It was, I think it was late 14.
1598. I have some.
1598. Wow,
down.
that's
the voyage
later.
of Vasco da Gama.
Okay, that's the one where he went around the world? Is that, anyway, I hope I'm not giving bad information.
I wonder what his boat was like. How he survived on that boat for all that time, because obviously nowadays we have such luxuries that we could not.
Yeah, well, they were of course stopping. They were, as I understand it, they were hugging the coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they were.
So
not,
they never went to know into
Well, after a while, they did go out, which is, by the way, how the Portuguese ended up in Brazil.
Yeah.
Was that one of their boats kind of went off course. It was trying to go around Africa, and South America.
Well, yeah, of course, because at that time they did not have that advanced navigation.
No, they were at the mercy of events, shall we say, of natural forces, and so that's how the Portuguese ended up involved in Brazil. Through that.
But of course, if we think about, all these like water exploration, it all started even before that. I mean, people have been interested in what's down there in the water, like since like 4000 BC when they started, diving, to see what's there. And then we had in 980, we had Vikings expeditions.
Right.
To explore what's out there, to conquer the countries. So where did they go? They went to Iceland to colonize Iceland, Greenland, Newfoundland.
And they ended up in Canada or North America, yeah.
Yeah, so, but it is indeed interesting how all these ships looked and what they were like. Because, when I think of Vikings, I imagine these huge ships that are impossible, to destroy. But maybe that's because, of different books and films and whatnot. But
and how these ships were powered by pure human strength, well, at least those Viking ships. And
yeah, I guess that was rowing oars.
Yeah.
I don't think, did they not have sails? They didn't have sails. The Portuguese, of course, had sails, I think, which, but still.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I've just seen, many years ago, I remember looking at a book and reading about surgeries on old ships. And for instance, if something bad happened to you, you would have your arm or whatever limb amputated on the ship. And it was just, it was
either existence. That or would be thrown, above the, what is it? Overboard?
Overboard, yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of like the lesser evil in this case. To be eaten by a shark, to drown, or to have your limb cut off.
It's an old medieval situation, standard medieval choice.
What's interesting though? So Vasco da Gama, it was 1598. But then in 1620, which was only 22 years later, there was a first submarine that was invented. Of course, it did not look, the way we would imagine it now, but it was, a wooden submarine-shaped thing, which was reinforced with metal and then covered with leather.
Yeah, there's nothing as solid for a submarine as a good leather covering.
Right. But of course, it was not, it was
Really
the human
leather.
force. So they had the oarsmen, yeah.
Oh, boy.
So
Can
how
you-
deep would that go? About 1 meter deep or something?
To be honest, when I read about that, I thought that it would just go all the way down and never go up.
Probably did. Yes, it probably did.
All the metal,
I think
and you have no
the plan
engines.
was to come back up, but
Like
the
suicidal
results were
submarines.
disappointing.
Just a weird looking coffin, basically.
Well, they never
Yeah.
said, that they would go up. You would explore the ocean.
Well, you would. It's
We just never said you would go up.
You
And
would
take
never
all
come
your
back.
secrets to your grave.
Right, yes. To your watery grave.
Chuck you in the sea and
Speaking of submarines, not connected with the exploration, but I have a story. So, when my mom and I, we were going to China in 2011, we tried to get our father with us. Like, come on, let's go with us. You've never been abroad. And he said, I have been abroad. Like, no, you haven't. Where have you been? He's like, in Vietnam, we just didn't go to the surface. So he was on a submarine in
wow.
Vietnam. Like, that does not count. So
yeah, I guess if you fly over a country, it doesn't count. So I guess
it doesn't. I would even say if you're at the airport of the country, it doesn't even count.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. So
Unfortunately.
we've decided that. Sorry
settled.
for all those listeners who have been counting their countries by
So,
airports.
I have a question to Benjamin. Do you remember anything about cutty sock? Because
Oh, yes, the
also,
cutty
I
sock.
remember
In
visiting
London.
it
in Greenwich.
In Greenwich.
Yeah.
So what role did that play? What was it used for?
To be honest, I'm quite embarrassed. I actually can't say. But I just remember playing next to the boat. It was quite fun. It was quite a fun boat to look at. So it's in Greenwich. It's right by the River Thames, and it's just docked there. Or is it the one in Greenwich, or is it the boat on the South Bank?
It is in Greenwich.
It's in Greenwich. So that is the cutty sock. Yeah, I just remember the loads of kids who play around it, who go on.
It's huge. It's like a museum now.
This was
Yeah.
like from the end of the age of sail, right? And so there was a thing to race to India, right? It was.
I remember that it was used as to bring the this. That's what I tried to remember. Did it go to China or to India? Because I remember
Maybe
it was
China.
bringing
Maybe China, probably China.
Because I remember when you're inside, there are a lot of interactive exhibits for the kids. Well, I was very curious, so for me as well. So, and I remember seeing big, huge boxes with the word tea on it. And then, I remember
so it must
something
have been-
about silk. So, but I don't remember when it was used. So I hoped you would remember.
I actually do not know. I really should know, to be honest.
I'm going to guess based on nothing that it was, or based on almost nothing, that it was maybe like 19th. Well, it was before powered engines, which was like maybe it would have to be the 18th century, have to be the 1700s, like that.
But it's a very big and beautiful ship.
Yeah,
you can go
the ships
inside.
were beautiful. Yeah,
There are a couple of ships. I can't remember the name of the other ship. There's also a great ship on the South Bank in London. For anyone who goes to London, definitely check it out. If you're a school child, you can spend the night there on the
wow.
boats, which is pretty cool.
Like, seriously?
Yeah, I remember my brother had a sleepover or something on the boat with some school friends. I think it was a little
Oh, wow.
school organized event.
Wow. Have you ever been maybe in a museum or something in a submarine? Like, have you ever had a chance to go like inside?
no.
I believe I did. I can't remember which one it was, but submarines are so fascinating. They're one of my favorite
Type of
topics.
transport.
I mean, it's just such a scary thing to get involved with, but I'm so fascinated by it.
Yeah. Remember all these like movies about catastrophes happening on submarines?
Oh man, yeah.
I've been fascinated by the documentaries about U-boats, the Nazi U-boats, and how terrible they were, but how vicious they were at fighting, and how, I mean, it was
They were really destructive. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
What is
really
it?
scary experience. So they were Nazi submarines that essentially attacked merchant ships traveling from America to the UK to bring over supplies. And they would sink all the supplies because obviously the UK relied on the US for food and other weaponry, etc. And the U-boats were vicious and absolutely terrifying to be on. So, yeah, I mean, essentially there would be times when there was no light inside, and they were all just cramped together in this tiny metal coffin. And yeah, it was.
Oh wow!
Yeah, check out the documentaries on YouTube. It's,
U-boat is like undersea boat, Untersea boat or something. We're German.
Yeah.
If you ever go to Baikal, by the way, you can get a chance to go inside in a museum, to go inside a submarine. It's tiny, which I used to explore, the deep lake life, So yeah, you can get inside, and now they're working on the interactive, screen, so they can show you what the explorers, and the scientists saw at the bottom of the Lake Baikal.
Yeah.
So if you ever go, check this out.
But actually, was this the boat that President Putin went on, which he went to the bottom of the sea? I remember seeing a video like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be so. Yeah. All right. So, and then if we continue talking about the exploration of the ocean, I'm sorry. I wish you could see Masha's face right now.
It's
absorbing?
because she's
Yes,
learning so much.
I am.
Yeah. That's the look of someone really learning a lot.
Enlightened, being enlightened.
Right.
So, and then in 1853, they started researching the deep sea life. Because until then, there have been a lot of debate as to whether, sea is present, under, 500 meters and lower. So, and then there was a coast survey that examined the east coast of the US, and they did find indications of life in depths over 6,000 feet, which is like 1,800 meters. So, and that was in 1853. So, and I think that's fascinating, that they could go that.
How did they go that deep? They
Well,
didn't go that deep, but
I don't think they went, in like a submarine, but that's a
how
good
would
question,
they
though.
do that? How would they measure that at that point?
That's a good question. Something to look up.
Actually, maybe they were doing something as weird as putting out a rope with a weight on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
You could-
probably
you
Just
could
to
do
just
that.
to measure.
Yeah, just literally a physical, not a rope, but like a steel,
how would
steel
they-
cable.
But how would that give them, an indication of sea life?
Oh, they're looking for life.
Yeah, so they indicated
Well,
that
I
there is
guess if
sea
they-
life.
If they
deep
pulled
sea
something
life.
up, I don't know how in the world would you do that without.
Well, something to look up, I guess. And then in 1925, they started the mapping of the ocean floor. So it is still, a work in progress, of course, given that we only know about 5% of the ocean. So yeah, and they started with the German vessel Meteor, which sailed around the Atlantic Ocean, taking these, detailed measurement.
Is the word for the profession an oceanographer? Is that
Yeah.
what an yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So my sister's friend right now is in, oh my goodness, what is the sea that is above Murmansk? So in the north
The
of Russia.
White Sea? Is that the White?
I think
Bielaya Moria,
so.
yeah? Is it the White
It
Sea?
might be.
Or is it the...
So anyhow, so my sister's friend is right now working on the mapping of the sea floor and like ocean, not the ocean floor, the sea floor, yeah, in that part, yeah. Okay.
And isn't the deepest part of the world, isn't it something like Mariana's Trench, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How deep is it?
It's crazy deep. I think something like 7 miles deep, which is
I think it's like Everest is vertically above ground. It's like 35,000 feet, which would be
Yeah.
about seven
that's
miles.
that's the
6, 7
altitude
miles.
a commercial airliner flies at. Yeah. So it's deep.
11 kilometers. Oh, you and your feet.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
11 kilometers sounds about right.
Well, anyone in aviation uses feet, essentially. I believe Russian pilots have to use feet too.
Might be so, yeah.
Yeah.
But we, simple people who do not understand this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the Mariana, what is it called? The Mariana?
I think it's the Marianas Trench.
Trench.
Yeah.
Trench, Mariana.
It's like 11.
I can't remember the exact
kilometers.
depth, but it's bloody deep. It's really deep.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about any crazy discoveries? I mean, something that was discovered in the ocean or found in the ocean.
Like the Bermuda Triangle or something? Something scary, mysterious.
One of the, let's we can talk about
Let's
it.
leave it. Yeah.
I mean, we're definitely going to talk about it. We can talk about it now. So
Why not?
What do you know about it? So what was it? What is it?
Well, I just know a lot of aircraft and a lot of boats that have approached that particular area have disappeared.
Well, actually, it has been a long time since I last read or heard about it. I thought that maybe they finally explored it, but well,
I think they just avoid it. When they plan the route, like the when you go on a plane or on a boat, they just try to
So it's still a
take
mystery,
detour.
isn't it?
I believe it is a
Okay.
yeah. It's
I think people
restricted
think like,
airspace.
it's
Yeah.
sort of-
restricted airspace.
It sort
yeah.
of became a thing, I think, in the 70s, maybe, that it became a popular phenomenon.
Wait, so first of all, where is it?
Well, Bermuda is off of Florida. It's in the Atlantic. Would it be North Atlantic Ocean?
I'm not sure it's around Bermuda. I think
Is
the
it-
point starts from Bermuda. Maybe it's somewhere between. Well, it could be around Bermuda.
It
Obviously,
is
it's called,
between Bermuda,
and the Not.
Miami, and Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's slower than I thought it was. Okay.
So, and what is, so the idea is that a lot of airplanes and
Strange
ships,
things happen there.
Ooh, that actually
Spooky.
gave rise to a lot of, guess what? Conspiracy theories.
Sure.
So what theories have you heard of?
Oh, to be honest, I haven't heard of any theories. Maybe something to do with UFOs, perhaps.
Yeah.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they had it. It's pretty bad.
Like the aliens kidnap ships and crafts from there, maybe. That's
Yeah,
what I
that's one
have
of the
just
theories.
invented. Okay.
There's actually one of the main theories that it's like a
That's the
supernatural.
most solid theory. Right. The rest of them are pretty speculative, but that one sounds pretty solid.
That's exactly what is happening, of course. Of course. How else would you explain it?
Right. There's no explaining it except that.
Yeah,
I'm
there's-
satisfied.
Want to go explore? Meet the aliens?
Not right now.
Well, yeah, kind of far. It would take a
And
lot
that's
of time.
how the ocean is connected to space, by the way.
Yeah.
The
Well,
secret
see?
connection.
See what Maria has done over here?
That's right. Still waters run deep. And she was holding back, pretending that
You're like,
we knew a
my-
lot about oceanography, and here she is uniting space and water.
I was looking at Maria like, do you have anything to say? And I can see that you're like, not my time to shine yet, not my time to shine yet. Now is my time to shine.
Now, get out the sunglasses. Prepare to be completely blinded.
But funny as it may sound, actually a lot of people believe this theory that, since there is no explanation as to why the aircrafts, have disappeared or ships have disappeared, they say, oh, this is supernatural. This is definitely supernatural. It might be the aliens. It might be it's one of the theories about the aliens. One more theory is that there is some kind of a deep sea monster who devours, the ships and whatever. So maybe the stories about Cthulhu are not that, fake. Not fake, but fiction. You never know. But the scientists say that most likely it's about the hurricanes and changes in weather, that happen in that area. So, but it's still up to the debate. Yeah, I guess a lot of people just think, better safe than sorry. We're not going there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, there are quite a few restricted airspaces. For instance, over Everest, around that southern part of China and around Nepal, is restricted airspace because if anything happens, you can end up dying. And I guess Bermuda.
There are a lot of
people don't want-
situations when you fly an airplane where you can end up dying, but okay.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if you have an air crash, you know.
I mean, if you sorry, I should have explained that better. If you crash, there's no way of being saved. It's really difficult to be saved.
Okay.
And and when aircraft fly over large oceans, they need to have special ratings. I think it's called ETOPS rating. So
see how Benjamin got us back to the aviation.
But we're still keeping about oceans here. So if you fly over the Pacific Ocean, just imagine if there's an emergency of a plane, for instance, you can't just land anywhere in the ocean.
Thank you so much, Benjamin.
So
that's exactly what I'm going to think about.
If you want to fly from Hong Kong to Los Angeles, I definitely implore you.
You know, it's like, you know, your friends before you go, you know, fly, they're like, have you seen it, you know, the news? Right. It's like when I was taking the train, remember I told you, I think I might have told you about it. When I was taking the train from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, it was Amtrak. And before my train, just 1 week or like even like 5 days before that, the same very train going the same very route got off the track. So there was, you know, a crash. And they're like, have you seen the news? Have you seen the news? I'm like, I haven't, but I hate you right now. So all my way from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, I was looking out the window and I was thinking, because most of the way is you have a mountain on the right. I mean, literally, it's like 1 meter away from you, an ocean on the left. And I just kept thinking, okay, if we go off the rails now, I'm dead. So, Benjamin, that's not what you say to people, because now I'm going to be paranoid when flying.
Well, it's not like you're going to fly tomorrow. You will forget.
Yes, the wonderful.
Just don't listen to this podcast before you fly. That's
right.
all.
Don't review that. What was that a thing that was so dangerous again? My flight's tomorrow.
No. I was supposed to forget that. Okay, let me not think about it.
Let me load that one on my
on my way.
On my phone. That's right. Just listen to it all the way to the airport.
Yeah, and on the way, you know,
right.
on a plane. Yeah.
Right,
so, any other crazy discoveries? Do you know of?
Well, those multicolored fish at the bottom of the sea, you know, those fish that have electronic LED-like lights.
Oh, wow.
It's absolutely insane. Have you
Having
seen
the party over there?
Yeah. That are like, what do they call them?
I have no idea.
Not luminescent, but there's something.
Well, sounds about right, actually.
But they're absolutely amazing. They look like a Tokyo building. It's absolutely amazing. And
I know that, you know, for a long time, there have been, you know, theories that there can't be any, you know, life too deep down there. But then when they discovered, you know, some fish that live nearly, you know, at the bottom, like the blobfish.
I was actually going to mention the blobfish.
Blob.
Yeah. Okay. And what about the immortal jellyfish? Have you heard about the immortal jellyfish?
So it lives for how long?
It's in the word immortal. Make a guess.
How long does this thing live for? I mean,
it's literally immortal. So they don't think that it ever dies. So because they have found this jellyfish, and apparently it has the ability to revert back to its, how do you call it, like polyp stage. So it's juvenile stage when it faces, you know, any kind of danger. So basically it escapes death. So every time it's, you know, some kind of death danger, it just reverts back to being a juvenile, just goes and lives for as long as it wants to until it faces, you know, death again.
So if you believe in reincarnation, you don't want to be reincarnated as this immortal.
But you know, the scientists, when they discovered this, they had a lot of hope, because now they're trying to, you know, research this jellyfish, because they believe that this may hold the cure to cancer. Because, you know, if they find the mechanism that helps us to regenerate, to revert back, they might use it, you know, to apply to our cells. So they have a lot of hope about this jellyfish. So they are doing, you know, a lot of research on it. So yeah. Okay.
Well, I know tortoises live a long time too, but maybe not immortal.
Yeah, they just. How long can they live? Like 5,
over 150 years, I believe. They live a long time.
Yeah.
But you got to be a tortoise all that time, so it's not all glamour and. it's a long time.
It's a dream
being a
of an introvert. You're slow. Don't see other, you know, people or something. Especially if you're somewhere on Galapagos.
Yeah.
dream life of an introvert. Really.
All right. But don't be discouraged, introverted listeners. We're not comparing you to a giant sea tortoise.
They are marvelous creatures.
Well, they are marvelous.
So I would take it as a compliment, Like if I'm compared to like a cow that might, raise some questions.
Tortoises don't swim. They don't swim. Yeah, it's turtles.
Turtles swim. Tortoises doesn't.
Tortoises don't. Yeah, well, in Russian they're called sukhoputnie, so dry path. So yeah.
Yeah. But both of them, both tortoises and turtles live a long life, like more than 100-something years. So, yeah. All right. And now let's use that way passage from the Bermuda Triangle to space and talk a little.
Beautiful transition.
Teleport.
Thank you, Gary.
I hope you podcast listeners were listening carefully right to that.
I've been waiting to use this joke since Masha has mentioned this. So
all right. Okay. The time.
Doing my best.
It was the time.
I'm not a very funny person, but I'm trying. Sometimes.
You're fine.
Well, speaking of space, we just had Jeff Bezos, we just had Richard Branson, and who else?
Just the two of them.
Just the two of them.
Yeah.
I believe there was a third.
We still have Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, yeah, exactly.
But
He is a little bit behind right now, yeah?
Yeah, he's a little
Well,
lagging.
let's say he's not
lagging.
He's not behind. He just has
He's waiting.
different
Right, he's
priorities. So he would never, go that that low as to go to the surface of the no. But Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson. So what about them?
Well, I know Jeff Bezos went up with an older lady.
Yep.
And
Like 82 or something.
Mm-hmm.
and he spent 10 minutes in space, I believe.
Well, technically it was not space.
It was the age of space.
Mm-hmm. So technically, he did that, and he said that he wanted to get this, the pin that the astronauts get, when they go to space from, they get this pin from NASA, like I'm an astronaut. So, but NASA said that
It says right on it.
I'm an astronaut. But they say that he cannot call himself an astronaut because technically he never went to space. And then later they restricted the rules, and now they say that an astronaut is not only somebody who just went into space, but also somebody who has, helped the industry or helped the research somehow. So, and Jeff Bezos did nothing like that. So he never helped, never helped NASA, never held any research. He did nothing like that. He just flew to the edge of space, and that's what he did. So they say we can't accept that.
No pin, Jeff.
No pin.
Sorry.
No pin.
Right.
Do you
no, I'm an astronaut pin.
No, not even a postcard. Nothing like that.
You are a mere tourist.
A mere tourist, but a very rich one. Actually, have you had?
Do you mean Mir as in the Mir space station, or do you mean like a mirror as in?
Oh, good one.
Nice pun.
Wordplay again.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So what else do you know about Bezos, Branson?
Well, I read that Bezos went higher, but Branson spent more time in space or on the edge of space, like about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually they went almost together within 1 week difference, which is interesting.
Right. Well, I think the way that worked was that Bezos had announced months ahead that he's going to do this thing. And then Branson decides, well, if you're going to do that thing, I'm going to do the same thing, but a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Have you heard about Bezos and NASA? So right now, NASA, the NASA space exploration program is working together with Elon Musk, and they are paying him 200 million, I think. So in order to, create the rockets and, and provide all of that. So Jeff Bezos said, if you work with me and my company, I will pay you 300 million. So now NASA is seriously considering, because now they are paying Elon Musk 200 million. And if they work with Bezos, he will pay them 300 million.
All right. Well, this is the kind of thing you can do if you're worth $100 billion plus.
Oh, yeah. If you have a
can-
lot of zeros in your account. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah. Now he's trying to
All right.
steal the spotlight.
Something about this doesn't appeal to my sense of the way space
What
should
is
be.
it? Let me guess.
Well, I know it's on our outline, but I remember
That
when
could be a smooth transition, Gary.
Well, it probably won't be, but I remember the space program when it was a space program in the 60s. And it was extremely serious. It had a political aspect. It was a kind of a national mobilization. It was extremely... People respected the danger of it. They respected the accomplishment that was involved. It took 10% of the budget for 10 years, the entire federal budget. It just 200,000 people were involved in the whole thing to make it happen. And it was just an extremely serious, sober thing. Yeah. And this, the way it is now, it's sort of,
Entertainment.
yeah, it's an entertainment
Well,
thing,
but it's
which
still,
is,
there's still a lot of research being done. There's
Yeah,
still,
no,
they
it's-
still need a lot of funding. But what is different now, I guess, is that they need even more funding than they used to need because now it's further. They have bigger goals. They need more resources. And well, money is one of the most important resources they need.
yeah. And there's plenty of money in the private sector. I understand why they're
More than-
doing it.
yeah.
And it is, I'm sure it's put dynamism in the process that wouldn't be there if it's the government trying to do something, but it just, the atmosphere of it, with you got branding and, everything's got,
I would say that most of the, most of science, no matter what kind of science that is now financed by the private sector, whether we want it or not.
Well, obviously you have the Chinese government too, which
which is now there's a political aspect, kind of.
yeah.
What about it?
Well, the Chinese government China has its own space program as well.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know anything about it?
Not too much. I believe they have aspirations to go to the moon.
Why?
I believe they do. I'm not too sure exactly. Maybe
Sure
for
they-
satellites.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
they
know.
do.
Maybe.
Because I remember we once talked about it when we talked about the conspiracy theories, that now basically, there's no need to go there to the moon because the point was just to prove
At
thing
the time,
at
yeah.
the time,
and now it's not like it was. It's not, there's even not a real space race, I don't think, at this moment.
So they have some kind of a different
the
goal
Chinese,
then?
the
Well,
Chinese,
maybe perhaps to disrupt telecommunication systems of other superpowers. Perhaps that could be a reason why, if you have that kind of power or leverage over a country, then perhaps it's definitely worth sending up a couple of rockets and
and it's
setting
still
up
just
a-
the old national pride, the
Does
same.
not sound very
That would-
promising to our safety as a world, but okay.
It does not. Yeah, but it's also just national. It's still just national pride, and China is the new guy on the block, and the proverbial elephant in the room. But everybody's talking about them, so it's not like they're not known. But so I think the U.S. went to. I think the Chinese recently landed on the dark side of the moon, and which other countries had not done. They've done that. I think they went to Mars. A lot of people went to Mars at the same time. United Arab Emirates went to Mars.
oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wait.
United Arab Emirates.
Went to Mars.
Want.
Want to go to Mars.
No, they sent
But not a human.
No, not a human.
Well,
Nobody
yeah.
has gone
Well,
to
so they
Mars.
sent a robot module kind of thing
Something,
too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there have been plenty
An
of them.
exploration, a scientific,
Like a poor curiosity who sings happy birthday to itself once a year.
right? Something.
Have you heard about how when they want, how do you call this thing, like curiosity? Like, what is it?
It's
Station? It's not a station. How would you call this?
It's a what is
It's not a module, is it?
I was going to say module. Yeah.
Okay,
it's
let's call it a module.
All right.
So, have you heard a story how before Curiosity, NASA was sending another module to Mars, but there was a little bit of miscommunication when they thought that the data was in miles and feet and pounds and everything. So they applied that, but it was initially in kilograms, kilometers, and whatnot. So, and they crashed the module on the surface of Mars. It never did anything. It just crashed upon landing because there was miscommunication in in all that. So, yeah. Can you imagine crashing a multi-million-dollar module because you misunderstood something? Oh, my goodness.
Sounds ridiculous.
It does, but it's possible.
You know what I was surprised about is that space is, we have the same situation with space as we do with ocean. Only 4 to 5% of visible universe is explored. So only we still do not know what's...
I would be surprised if it was even that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be like it would be 0.000.
Yeah, but we were talking about visible universe. And
then even the visible universe.
And still it's more than the ocean if we compare numbers,
yes.
kilometers and years.
Yeah,
like years.
Millions and millions and million times.
So we know more about space.
Compared to. I mean, if you compare it to the ocean, I mean, space is bigger, you may say so. But if we talk about, percentage, about the percentage, 5% of the ocean, 5% of the space. So, but why don't we talk a little bit about actually the exploration of space? So just the key moments in history, just very briefly to revise them.
Mr. Yuri Gagarin.
When was that?
59.
Or 60.
61.
Okay.
61.
So April the 12th,
Sputnik was maybe 59.
It was 57.
57.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then 61. You should learn that for your exam.
Yeah.
Okay, then what was next?
Like Apollo moon landing?
Yeah. When was that?
I'm bad at numbers.
That was
1960.
69.
1969 when someone made that.
I remember when I was I remember being in first grade, which would have been 1961, and I think I remember they wheeled in a television, and we watched John Glenn. This was the first U.S. manned, I think, orbit. Or maybe the second.
Well, there was in 1958. There was the first U.S. satellite that went into orbit.
Right.
And then in 1961,
there
was Alan Shepard, who became the first American to fly into space.
Okay, I think this was
and
John Glenn.
And then in 1962, it was John Glenn.
That must have been the one that I saw.
Yeah, the flight.
He actually circled.
Yeah, but he was the first to orbit the Earth.
Orbit. Yeah, I think I sat there and watched that in my little world. And then I definitely remember, I already mentioned this on an earlier podcast, I mentioned taking photographs of the moonwalk, which was a big event. And then I was old enough to sort of understand what was going on and be interested in it, kind of. Not.
So cool.
Yeah, and then later it got more advanced, more detailed.
Yeah.
So we managed to get, the detailed images thanks to the Voyager spacecraft of Jupiter and Saturn and their rings and their moons. And have you seen these, the pictures, the pictures that they used to have, something like, in a telescope of, I think it was Jupiter and Saturn, being just a blob basically. And they're like, see this dot? This is a planet, and how detailed the pictures are now.
Oh, yeah.
This is fascinating. You can basically see what the surface looks like.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can watch a video of one of these vehicles, right? Rolling around on Mars.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, full, like probably 4K or something. I don't know, really high quality video.
Can you imagine telling, people from the past, from like 1950, even like, okay, just 1950, when there hasn't been any kind of a, flight into space or around the Earth, nothing like that yet, that just in 70 years' time, 80 years' time, we'll be able to see that. Unbelievable. Just wow.
It is.
Yeah. So, and what do we know about our galaxy? So our galaxy, what is our galaxy? Is it Milky Way?
I looked this up, and it's, I didn't know that I understood this or forgotten it, whatever, but yeah, we're in the Milky Way galaxy.
And
is that
then,
how you understood it? Does that sound
yeah,
right to you?
that's
Our
what,
galaxy is the Milky Way.
And then we have 8 planets now.
So we have the solar system, we have the galaxy, and we have the universe. It's like,
Can you dumb it down to me?
So we have the solar system on our 8 planets with Pluto, which is the ninth. Then bigger is the galaxy, which is the Milky Way, and bigger is the universe.
Well,
itself.
the universe is.
It has multiple galaxies.
Yeah, so we still do not know whether it's finite. It might be infinite. But so in the galaxy, so we have the solar system. But it's just a part of the galaxy. So does that mean that there are other?
Yeah, well,
systems?
it's just our sun is when the solar system around the sun. That's a star. It's a star.
Mm-hmm.
It's a star.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're looking out there, but I looked this up. I mean, it's from Wikipedia, so it's. But anyway, it says that just in our galaxy, there's other galaxies. It's estimated to contain between 100 and 400 billion, with a B, stars. Okay.
Sometimes people compare themselves to a speck of dust, in the bigger picture. We're not even that.
No,
we're not even an atom in the bigger picture.
Have I done my thing on this where I feel like I've done this here, but this is a comparison this is actual fact. It's a way of visualizing stellar distances, meaning distances between stars. And have I done this? Does this sound familiar? Okay. What you do is you take and you get out your printer and you print with a 12 size font, you print a period on a piece of paper and put that here. Okay.
Okay.
You take a tennis ball. Okay. Take a tennis ball. Okay. And that's going to be that's the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now.
So the dot is the Earth.
Dot is the Earth. Tennis ball is the sun. Now, we're not a very big room, but if you take a room a little bit bigger than this, that's maybe 6 meters across, and I stand on one side with my piece of paper with a 12 font dot, and you stand over there with your tennis ball. That's the sun. The question is, where is the nearest star? We're talking about the proportions. Okay, where is the nearest star?
Crescent Prospect, maybe. I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Not even in this city.
Not even in this city.
Oh, wow. It's that far.
Na Uralia. It's in the Urals.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's the nearest star. One star.
That's so far.
I think we need to stop the podcast,
Yes.
and me to have to go and have existential crisis.
Everybody needs to lay down on a pad. That's the way I felt it.
Yeah.
And there's 200 to 400 billion stars.
That's crazy. I thought I was being ridiculous by saying Krasny Prospect, but that's crazy.
No,
far,
it's preposterous. I mean, it's just so far.
To be honest, I think my human brain cannot even process that.
No, it makes me sick.
They say that once a person starts to understand, things about life and something, they go crazy. So I'm afraid if I actually imagine I'll just go crazy.
Well, I tried to do it when I was a teenager. I used to ask lots of questions, but I don't know why. But to me, it sounds calming. It makes me like calm down. Like, wow. Everything is so big and I'm so small. And for some reason, it
makes my head spin. Yeah, it really bothers me. I mean, if it really bothers me, if you think about that, for me anyway.
It does bother me too. No, I've looked at videos of space before, and it's terrifying. Yeah,
it is.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
No one denies
It's
that. Yeah,
amazing,
but it's
yeah.
also terrifying in this way, how tiny, unimportant we are. Yeah, I do start having existential crisis. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's
Before I fall into this
if
void.
If it all falls apart for you after this, you'll know where it started. Yes. Right,
It all started
right here.
right here, that very moment. Yeah. So wait. So what are the goals maybe or the objectives of space exploration now? So do you know what they want to do next? What they want to find out?
To find a proper planet to colonize,
Well, I think
so that we can just give up on Earth. And
I-
we have already spoiled it. Okay,
I think
let's
NASA
go to the
has,
next one.
I think NASA have actually, suggested that Mars would be a suitable planet to
Well, I
colonize.
think that's what Elon Musk
he's doing.
is.
He's dreaming of.
Well,
yeah,
he's
actually
he's
thinking.
going.
He's yeah.
Not only is he thinking, he's going to Mars in 2024. He's selling tickets for that now.
I would believe that. It's just, to think that Mars is going to be a great idea as opposed to the Earth, I think is really not very clear thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't thought that one through.
It's weird how he says, we need to go to Mars and something. I'm selling tickets. This, it's a one-way ticket. We're now coming back. And he's like, yeah, a lot of people are going to die during the colonization process. And he laughs and you're like, now that looks a little bit creepy, but okay.
I mean, there's plenty of people that would do crazy things like that. If you think
true.
about it, there are over 7 billion people in the world. There's always some crazy person out there.
Well, but this crazy person has a lot of money, status, and he knows how to make people interested in all of that.
He does. And he also knows how to do the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Right? He can bring the rockets back and reuse them and all those wonderful things. But, is anybody going to really live on Mars and save our planet?
Maria, do you remember when we talked about different universes? We mentioned the universe, well, not the universe. Oh, we were talking about sci-fi. We talked about Ray Bradbury, and we discussed how in his books, he described different inventions that people laughed at the time, like earphones or things like that. And people were laughing at him like, that would never happen. That would never appear. Ta-da, we have these things.
Well, lots of science fiction writers were real visionaries.
But the reason why I mention him is that he has a whole series on Mars colonization, So who knows? Maybe he was the one who actually...
But in his books, Mars had the same problems as the Earth. So
That's true. Well, because
no matter where people go,
they take themselves
humans.
with them. Yeah.
And I'm not sure about Elon Musk. I think that maybe he's more of a dreamer and a businessman than a scientist. So maybe he just does
An
not...
engineer.
Yeah. I know, but still, we need to try to keep the Earth because that's the planet for us. And we need to explore and try to save it, really, because I've listened to an interview with an guy who explores space. What do we call them?
Astronaut?
No, he doesn't go to space. He explores it
Astronomer.
Yeah, kind of astronomer. Yes, and he says that, Elon Musk is a great guy, but he's a dreamer because we will not be able to live on Mars. Mm-hmm. We only have the Earth. So as an astronomer, he says, let's keep it for us. Let's save it.
Okay. All right. So let's come to, the first and the biggest question then. What would you say? Should we explore the space or the ocean?
Ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, ocean.
I mean, space is cool, but the ocean, it's on our front door.
Space and it's cool and romantic, and it brings lots of questions and lots of dreams. But ocean can be really a helpful source for us. It can be a source of different. We can make lots of discoveries in the medical science, in biology, in climate science and everything. Because, for example, ocean can absorb CO2 emissions. Ocean can be the source of food and the source of useful bacteria, which can lead to drug development and so on.
Even this immortal jellyfish, who knows? What if it really helps to find a cure? You never know. Yeah. Gary, what do you think? Space or ocean?
Well, I'd go for both. How about that?
Oh, no, you can't do that.
I can't do that.
No, you can't.
Well, I think space needs a vote here, so I'll give my vote for space.
I actually have written a little list of why people tend to vote for space rather than ocean. Do you want to hear it? You don't look very enthusiastic,
Sure,
but
sure.
You don't have a toe, so I'm gonna say that. So, but I have noticed that in general, space stories are generally positive, whereas ocean stories tend to be rather, negative. How space stories, they trigger your imagination. For example, wouldn't it be amazing to find life on other planets? Or wouldn't it be amazing to know what's out there? Whereas ocean stories are more mundane, like, oh, we are overfishing. How are we going to feed 9 billion people by 2050? Because, by 2050, they said we're going to have 9 billion people. And they say by 2040, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So, that's what they're trying to, to prove, to say. So, and people, don't like that. They want the romanticism, as you've said.
Yeah. And people maybe tend to think that space promises something and the ocean does not promise anything because it's on our planet. We already what is there that we don't know? It's just so boring. Down also, deep, and here it's like space is something above. Maybe someone will come and help us. And something like this.
So we may say that space research is very effectively marketed thanks to that. Just think about all that. Whereas, ocean tends to be more scientific because it's all about, science and how we can use that. And it's not really, interesting to the public as such. Yeah. Okay. I would also say that usually when it comes to space exploration, there's no call to action. It's just, look how beautiful it is. We should do it. We should do it. Whereas when people, the oceanographers who explore the ocean, they usually, after any research they make, after every expedition they have a call to action like stop polluting, stop, reduce your plastic usage, stop dumping things into the ocean. They always have these, desperate cries. So, and people also, tend to move away from that to the...
So what you're saying is the oceans have bad PR.
Oh, very, very. So marketers who are responsible for ocean exploration, do your job better. Attract people.
Stop showing the seagulls with the plastic in the mouth. Stop it.
Yeah. So I believe that they should change, the promotion maybe. And also space is amazing. Of course, it's beautiful. It's impossible to understand the whole of it, of course. But the ocean is right here and we need it to survive. We might not, we might live long enough, to have enough of water, whatever. But what about future generations? They might not have enough clear water or fish or anything like that too soon. So I would vote for ocean. So 3 versus 1. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'll
that's it. We've decided we need to tell the heads of the countries that we've decided that.
All right. Well, just tell them that it was 3-1.
So will the budget be bigger now on the ocean exploration because we have voted for it?
Of course, I hope so.
Actually,
there have been. If you ever have spare time, watch the debate between NASA astronauts and oceanographers. So there have been,
there really is a debate about
there
this?
There is a debate, and it's they have been public, and oh wow, that was brutal at times. It's even, well, I can't say funny, but there's more action than in political debates sometimes. I mean, yeah. And I actually wonder what our listeners think. So do you think there should be more of space exploration, or should we explore the ocean? And why do you think so? We are really interested in getting to know what you think. Is that so? Right? Am I the only enthusiastic person? Like, please, I want to talk to people.
Yes, guys, let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, that's right. We wanted to. Let's hear you. Let's see that voting. Let's see those hands go up across the internet.
You may help Gary, win this. So
yeah, help me out here. I'm feeling a little strange here with all these ocean people, and I'm looking out to space.
All right. So that was the Big Apple School podcast, and today we discussed space and ocean. Thank you for listening, and remember, if you struggle to understand our conversation, you're always welcome to our website, which is
bigappleschool.com/podcast.
Woo! You seem to have forgotten it a little bit, but
it was a little rough there.
We'll practice. We'll practice.
I'll work on it.
Make sure to check out the website because you can find full scripts of each episode there. And even more to that, you can find different articles, videos, grammar, you name it. There are so many things over there. So, and if you want to get even more content, which will help you learn English, you can follow us on the social media, such as Instagram, VK, YouTube, Telegram, and so on. Just search our name, which is Big Apple School. And if you have kids, make sure to check out the Big Apple Kids profile, which has a lot of fun stuff there too. So that was Katja, and my guests for today were
Gary,
Maria,
Benjamin.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you around.